Mark Reynolds, a disciplined single dad and former Army sergeant, was used to confronting danger head-on, but nothing prepared him for a routine college visit to his daughter's university turning into chaos. When he saw a brash bully shoving a frightened young woman against a locker, his instincts kicked in. He intervened without hesitation, fists and training ready, only to be blindsided by her sharp intelligence and fierce resolve. What he didn't know was that the girl he had just protected was the daughter of one of the country's most powerful CEOs. In that moment, heroism collided with unexpected revelations. Mark Reynolds had spent years perfecting discipline, order, and resilience. As a former Army sergeant, he knew how to handle danger, uncertainty, and chaos. But his life as a single dad was a different kind of battlefield. Raising his teenage daughter, Emma, required patience, tact, and sometimes brute persistence. Despite the fatigue that never fully left his bones, he relished the small victories: a completed homework assignment, a successful science project, a genuine smile on Emma's face. On a bright Thursday morning, Mark accompanied Emma to her college to attend a parent orientation. He didn't anticipate trouble. The campus was orderly, filled with students rushing between classes and parents clutching informational brochures. Emma, oblivious to her father's constant vigilance, chatted animatedly about her schedule, her classes, and the club she hoped to join. Mark's military instincts kept him alert. Something about the crowded hallway made him tense. And then he saw it, a commotion near the lockers. A tall, imposing student shoved a smaller girl against the cold metal, slamming her books to the floor. The girl's eyes widened, and panic flashed across her face. Mark's body moved before his mind caught up. He pushed past students and textbooks, landing in front of the bully.
"Back off!"
he barked. The bully, confident and sneering, laughed. "Mind your own business, old man, Mark retorted. His military training had taught him calmness, but fury and instinct demanded action. In a split second, he grabbed the bully's arm, twisting and redirecting his force, knocking him off balance and forcing him to step back. Students froze, some recording the event on phones. The girl stepped back, shaken, clutching her fallen books. Mark's gaze softened.
"Are you okay?"
he asked, voice steady but protective. "Yes," she stammered, brushing her hair from her face. "Thank you for stepping in." But Mark didn't notice the piercing green eyes, the aura of composure, and the subtle confidence radiating from her. To him, she was just someone who needed immediate help. "What's your name?" he asked gently. "Olivia," she said. Mark nodded. "Good. Let's get you out of here before anyone else tries something stupid." And just like that, a simple act of protection spiraled into something neither of them could anticipate: the realization that Olivia was more than just a frightened student. She carried an air of authority, composure, and intelligence far beyond her years. What Mark didn't know yet was that she was the daughter of a powerful CEO, a woman who could command entire industries with a single decision. After the hallway confrontation, Mark and Olivia moved to a quieter courtyard. Emma, who had witnessed the altercation from nearby, ran up and hugged her father tightly.
"Dad!"
"Are you okay?" "I'm fine," Mark replied, ruffling her hair. He cast a glance at Olivia, whose demeanor had shifted from panic to cautious calm. She seemed composed despite the incident, picking up her scattered books and placing them neatly in her bag. "I can handle myself," Olivia said softly, but there was an undercurrent of gratitude in her voice. "I didn't expect anyone to step in." Mark chuckled, shaking his head. "That's what dads do." He glanced at Emma. "And sometimes former soldiers." Olivia raised an eyebrow, a subtle smile tugging at her lips.
"A soldier, huh? Used to be,"
Mark admitted. "But some things never leave you." The conversation was interrupted by a group of students approaching. Whispers and cautious glances suggested the bully had been talking. Olivia's posture remained upright, unflinching. Mark noticed the air of authority she exuded. "You're not just a regular student," he remarked. "I'm Olivia Bennett," she said, her tone quiet but commanding. "My father is, well, someone influential. But that doesn't matter here. What matters is respect, and you earned mine." Mark blinked. The revelation startled him, but he maintained composure. "Influential or not," he said, "everyone deserves protection from someone who wants to hurt them." As they walked together to a safer area on campus, Mark found himself thinking not just about the immediate danger, but about the strength and composure Olivia displayed. She didn't rely solely on her father's name or authority. She carried herself with confidence and intelligence. For Olivia, the encounter was equally enlightening. She realized that Mark wasn't just an ordinary parent. His presence, his decisiveness, and his protective instinct spoke volumes about his character. Here was a man who had devoted himself fully to his daughter, capable of handling threats without hesitation, and who possessed an integrity that money and power could never buy. By the time they reached the student center, both realized that the hallway incident had forged a connection, mutual respect between two strong, capable individuals from different worlds, whose lives were temporarily intertwined by circumstance and courage. In the days that followed, Olivia and Mark maintained occasional contact. Emails and messages were brief but meaningful. Olivia wanted to express her gratitude beyond a simple "thank you." Mark, meanwhile, couldn't shake the impression of her intelligence, confidence, and subtle warmth. One afternoon, Mark received a message from Olivia requesting a meeting at a campus cafe. He wasn't sure what to expect, but he agreed. When he arrived, she was already seated, reviewing documents that appeared to be for a business project. She looked up and smiled, a genuine, confident smile. "Thanks for meeting me," she began. "I wanted to talk about what happened, and also to get your perspective. You handled yourself well, but you also helped me realize something important." Mark raised an eyebrow. "Oh, and what's that?" "You don't judge people based on appearances or rumors," she said. "You act based on what's right. That's rare, and I wanted to learn from it." The conversation turned to life, responsibility, and the challenges of raising and guiding the next generation. Olivia shared her insights from growing up under immense expectations, while Mark offered his hard-earned wisdom on patience, resilience, and parenting. They discovered shared values, mutual respect, and a subtle, growing admiration for one another. By the end of the meeting, Mark understood that Olivia's life was far more complex than he had imagined, and Olivia realized that Mark's strength and character were not just in his military training, but in the love and dedication he showed to his daughter. Weeks later, a charity event brought Mark and Olivia together once more. Olivia was attending in support of her father's foundation, while Mark had volunteered with his daughter's school. Fate placed them side by side, allowing them to reflect on the extraordinary series of events that had brought them together. "Sir," a fellow volunteer remarked jokingly to Mark, "you've become quite the campus hero." Mark smiled, glancing at Olivia. She returned a small, knowing grin. The hallway bully incident, the college confrontation, and their continued interaction had forged a bond built on respect, courage, and shared values. For Olivia, Mark had become a symbol of protection and integrity, someone whose presence reassured her that not all strength was defined by wealth or status. For Mark, Olivia embodied intelligence, poise, and the resilience he admired so much. As the event concluded, they walked together, Lily in Mark's thoughts, and the weight of their respective responsibilities seeming lighter in the presence of mutual understanding. They had found a rare connection, one forged by circumstance but sustained by character, empathy, and the unspoken recognition that some bonds are unexpected yet unbreakable. Mark realized that heroism wasn't always about saving strangers in combat. Sometimes it was about protecting, respecting, and valuing others in everyday life. And Olivia understood that real strength often comes from the people who act decisively when it matters most. By the time the night ended, both knew that their worlds, though different in wealth and experience, had collided meaningfully, and that this encounter was just the beginning of a partnership defined by trust, respect, and a shared understanding of courage.